Yup. It's Ask Grapsody. There used to be like a graphic that came up at Ask Grapsody. I know it's in here somewhere. I didn't look at it before we started the show, but oh, here it is right here. Can I? Yep. Oh, there it is. Look at me. We killing it. Ask Grapsody is today. It's Philip Lindsay. It's Righteous Reg. We are back. A little bit different, of course. I'm sure everybody in the world has heard the news that 1/3 of the Grapsody podcast is now All Elite. William Washington is All Elite, a part of the All Elite Wrestling brand. It's out there, Bill.
Out there. Yeah, usually we do this on Fightful Select, as you guys know. But for today's episode, we are free 99.
Mm-hmm.
If you would like to watch Ask Grapsody from today on, of course it'll be on Fightful Select. Pay your $5 for scoops to the scoops and your boys.
Easy as that. It's not really that complicated, right? It's like $5. You get a whole bunch of news from Sean Ross Sapp that you are eventually going to see on your timeline anyway. So you might as well, help out a couple of brothers like us get paid and send in some money. And then if you have that, you can see us every other Thursday asking all the questions in the world. If you guys want to ask questions, you can ask them here in the chat. Ask away, man. We don't really like to hold anything back. We see there's a bunch of you guys piling in here. Will Washington is now a part of the thing. His influence showed immediately as we saw Sheeta run onto the screen. You're like, oh yeah, Will Washington definitely works there now. Very hilarious moment. All the jokes about Will, and people are already calling him the Booker of the Year. I just been having a big belly laugh all day, every day. So it's been it's been quite a moment, I'd say. Let's what are you laughing at already, Phil?
I just seen somebody pop up on the side.
Yeah, I'm like, what happened? That person ran away really fast. Let's get into a couple of these in the chatty questions. We're gonna get to the super chats first. Ricardo El Rey de Chisme says, love the new era of Grapsody. This is the new era of Grapsody so far. We're just like trying to see what we're going to get into. We're going to have like a whole bunch of things going on when we get to Saturday. Today, we're just kind of kicking it, seeing what y'all are about, seeing how y'all feel about how things are going to be moving forward. So thank you for that, Ricardo. Really appreciate that. Okay, y'all are coming fast now. I can't read. My eyes are too slow for this. Jake, our homie Jake's here. Jake Salazar says, I'm just here to push my OC versus Naito agenda. Anybody want to help push this on Twitter? Will, I know you see this. Put the word out, buddy. Jake, that's a great match, I think, for Forbidden Door. Orange Cassidy has been doing some pretty amazing things with that championship. One of the best in the world wrestlers, I think, off the backs of that championship. And Phil, right? Naito would be a pretty dope opponent for him, wouldn't he?
Yeah, you're actually late to the agenda, Jake, because I've been pushing this agenda for over a year. I actually pitched that match for the first Forbidden Door, and it didn't happen. So I'm still waiting for that match to happen, Tony Khan. I know our influence is in the building now, so make this match happen.
This is going to get funny, I'm sure, with our influence being in the building. Jester says, would like if they gave Odyssey Jones the Mark Henry treatment. I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
I don't know. Maybe that means he wants him to get a big push. I don't know.
Okay.
Because, I mean, when Mark first came in, they did make him seem like a big deal. Like they were airing the vignettes and then, showing that he was like an Olympian and all these other things. And so maybe that's what it means.
I like it. I think the dude has charisma, maybe even a little bit more charisma than Mark Henry did when he came in. So I think if they give him a chance to do his thing, he could do it, but he might get lost in the shuffle. There's a lot going on already over there. I think for all the people that kind of were called up NXT, besides like pretty deadly, and Grayson Waller, who I think are going to be doing pretty well regardless of what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good sign for Odyssey Jones. Hopefully they got plans for him. I don't know.
We'll see. We got a question here from T. Smith. What is your opinion on Bullet Club and AEW? Seems pretty lackluster. Do you think they even have access to the IP? Do you think people will continue to join?
Um, I don't know what to make of Bullet Club Gold. Because the appeal of Bullet Club is that they're a bunch of gaijins starting trouble in a Japanese promotion. And
Yes.
so that entire concept is not there when you're in an American promotion.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know if it's just to build up to a Civil War angle with the Bullet Club guys at Forbidden Door. Then I think that's interesting, but
I like it.
I don't know what you do with it going forward because it kind of doesn't have the same appeal anymore.
Mhm.
Um, and it almost feels like, all right, well, we got Jay White, and Jay White is most popular for being leader of Bullet Club, so let's use him in that aspect. But I don't know. It's still strange that my man Jay White has not had an in-ring promo yet. He hasn't really given a
Yeah.
motivation or anything for being there. So,
Yeah.
oh,
It's super interesting because I think that point right there. I don't, me, I don't really give a shit about in-ring promos too often, but there's some guys that I think excel at doing in-ring promos and excel in front of uh crowds and things like that. And I think Jay White is kind of tailor-made. He's actually like he might be in a better position as a TV wrestler here in America than he was even in New Japan. But I don't know if they're giving him the tools to express that yet. It's just kind of like, well, Jay White, like last night, it was like, well, White's here to stand around, and then he came out afterwards. But it's like, so I was on a podcast yesterday with Kenny McIntosh from Inside the Ropes, and he was saying that as someone who doesn't watch New Japan very often, they haven't really told us or explained why this guy's a big deal. He's a huge deal. Like it should be like we should be like, damn, Jay
mhm.
White, but they haven't really been like expressing on TV why he's such a big deal.
Yeah, I don't think it's come across as well yet. And I mean, hopefully it'll get there. It definitely feels like they're trying to figure out where he fits in. I think the other problem with Jay White is that it's kind of a crowded field for heels at the moment. Like
It is.
when you really look at it, there's not like a big opening for a new heel to come in because you've got what MJF is doing. He's the biggest heel in
Mhm.
the company. Blackpool Combat Club has kind of stood out as like the biggest heel faction in the company. Then you
Yep.
have House of Black that is heels too, and you have what Swerve is doing too. So it's kind of crowded. It's
It is
kind of
pretty
not
crowded.
it's not enough room for somebody to really stand out as a heel yet. And that's kind of the benefit of going elsewhere, going to WWE, is that he would have
Mhm.
had more of an opening to do that. So I don't know. Hopefully, he gets his legs under him, and you get a more of an idea of what makes Jay White special soon.
He should have went to WWE. Is crazy, but
I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that that was part of the benefit of going over there.
no, definitely. No, I feel you. There are, I mean, that's a good problem to have because I think that as pro wrestling always kind of lacks heels, like really good heels, you know what I mean? So to have like a plethora of like really good heels is not a bad thing. Jay White, I think, is still pretty early. I don't want to keep saying that in the year. We're like, it's still early. He ain't did shit, but I think we're going to be in the UK very soon. We're going to be in some places that he's going to be over as hell. So I'm not low on him yet. It's interesting how they've gone so far, but I think we're on our way to some dope shit. JR says, what roles does Will have in AEW? I mean, Tony Khan laid it out there right there in that tweet. He said that Will Washington's now the jack of all trades in AEW. Like, man, he laid out about 25 things. He's gonna be in the ring, he's gonna be on the road, he's
He's
gonna
in
be
the
doing
ring.
this, he's gonna be doing this, he's gonna be doing that. I'm like, yo, my guy is really out here. Wasn't it crazy to see Will Washington is all elite graphic though?
That graphic was wild. It was wild. Um, hey, if you would like to see what his role is, though, again, if there's a free preview for Fightful Select, there's a
Mm-hmm.
report on Fightful Select on what his role is, what his duties will be.
Mm-hmm.
$5, guys.
Boom. We're giving it up. I'm telling you. I don't like whatever Zeno Hours been saying here. Righteous Reg has to watch more WWE content now. Let's go. Unfair. I don't know why you would say that out loud.
Unfair. That's
I
hilarious.
watched Raw this week and
Why'd you sound like the beginning of like Carl Thomas song, right?
that's how I felt. I felt like the beginning of a Carl Thomas song
Yo,
because
speaking of R&B singers, man, what is going on with like Brian McKnight? This guy's been trending like every day.
I have no idea. I know people are very mad. It's always exactly like this. There'll be one tweet that says, "Man, what's up with Brian McKnight?" And then the follow-up tweet is like, "Fuck Brian McKnight." I'm like, what did Brian McKnight do?
I've seen some of the Instagram posts that people are sharing. It kind of looks crazy, man. Like I guess like he's like, man, this is the best daughter I've ever had. Definitely the only daughter I've ever had. Pay no attention to those black daughters I have over there.
Yikes.
It looks crazy, bro.
Why?
It looks
What's
crazy.
the point of this?
Don't know. I don't know what's going on.
And he's just like outside with it. Like, you got a new album dropping. If you got a new album dropping, this is a wild rollout.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on over there in the McKnight household, man. It's looking kind of crazy, man. It's looking nuts, man.
Oh shit. Eddie James asked, why does Phil hate LeBron so much? That's a good question to ask. The Lakers cheated the other night to beat the Warriors, so that's a good leeway here.
Lakers cheated the other night. Look, I don't hate the guy personally. As a ball player, I don't like him. There's a lot of things that he does on the court that I don't like. I think all of it goes back to just how they beat the Bulls. The fact that stopped the Bulls from going to the finals that year. Did a lot of flopping during that series.
It's very fair.
I will never forget this guy. The last game of that series, and I don't know if people remember that series. Bulls trounced these guys in the first game. Absolutely trounced these guys. Swept them in the season series. Couldn't get a win on us. And so I was charged up. I was like, nah. They don't want to see my guys. And I don't want to see Derek Benchmark. We getting them up out of here, man. I don't want to hear that. Not 5, not 6, none of that. We're getting them up out of here. And so second game, I'm just watching this. We're getting more and more fouls called on Noah. And I was just like, all right, this guy's doing the flop routine. And then that last game, he flopped, very clear flop. And he turned around and winked in the camera. And it was that moment I was like, yeah. Fuck
you have told the wink in the camera story before, yes.
Yeah, no, there was that very moment where I was like, yeah, nah, fuck this guy.
See, everything you're saying, like I've usually like, man, Phil be wild. And maybe LeBron's not crazy, but now that I see him playing against the Warriors and I see what's going on right before my eyes, I'm like, nah, this is some bullshit, bro. Like, what is going on? I know this is all his, but can we not be so blatant about it all being his?
Joakim Noah was always right about him. Dude is Hollywood as fuck.
I mean,
he's always right about him. And where is he at right now? He's in Hollywood. Joe was always right about him, man. Joe gave me some of the best playoff moments of playing against this guy in their rivalry. Him blocking the shot and then trying to get in Noah's face and talk trash, and Noah classically coming back with, "You still a bitch though." Love it
forever. No, I get it. That makes sense. Patrick Nguyen says, will there be a third host to Grapsody to replace Will, or will it just be you two?
We are not replacing our guy. His seat is still warm over here. And because his seat is still warm, I don't want none of you vultures flying around like, hey, is there a spot over there at Grapsody? Are you replacing him? No, we're not replacing my man. Stop trying to get my guy out of here just because he got a better opportunity.
I heard a bunch of plates and forks clacking. I'm like, yo, y'all got to get out of here, man. This is not going down like that.
We're not replacing our friend, man. Like this, Grapsody is still his home, man. We're not.
Yeah, we can't replace Will Washington. Like that's off rip. That's what you have to say. He never will be replaced. It's not a thing. And Dave was asking the same question. Are you guys to remain a duo or look for a new third? We're going to have friends joining us, but there'll never be a replacement for Will Washington.
Yeah, the new Phil and Reg podcast with friends is the move. But we're not replacing our guy.
Straight up. Mm. Uh, no, y'all wildin'. Uh, Will may be gone, but my support for you two ain't going nowhere. Insert Leo gift. Appreciate that, Jake Salazar. Our homeboy Eloquent says, "How y'all feel about this AR rap trend?" Oh,
It's trash. I don't like it.
thank you for this question, Eloquent. It's driving me insane, and the worst part is everybody keeps saying, oh, I know I shouldn't like this, but I downloaded this, or I know I shouldn't like this, but this is dope, or this is whatever they're saying attached to it. We have to we gotta bury this thing. If we don't totally bury it, it's gonna take over. It's already taken over. That Drake song has like 2 billion streams or some crazy shit. I'm like, this is not the way, dude. Even if you're like listening to it as a joke, whatever's happening here is awful. I seen this new one, Timbaland did a Biggie track or something, saying he never got to do a Biggie track, so he got an AI Biggie verse. Timbaland, you
Ew.
can't, Timbaland, Timbaland. If anybody would know, it'd be you, bro. You can't do this. Like, you know how fast you could be replaced. And when all you have to do is put in Timbaland, it's like worse than YouTube because you could used to put Timbaland type beat and a whole bunch of Timbaland type beats.
Timbaland type beat.
Now you can go to AI and be like, give me a Timbaland type beat, and they're going to give you a fresh Timbaland type beat for you to get your shit off. And that's not the way to go. Creators are on our way out, and this whole writer strike thing doesn't help because I'm like, they're just going to go to AI and be like, fuck y'all writers. We don't need y'all. We got AI out here. It's very nervous for me as a creator,
Nah,
as a rapper, as somebody. I don't like it. Hate it. Hate it so
pass for
fucking
me, man.
much.
This AI thing. This AI thing is scary, bro. It's getting
Mhm.
scary out here.
Like, not even just for music, like for podcasts and shit too. Like, they're gonna just be able to make AI. Like, eventually, it's just be AI Reg and Phil going on. You don't need the real guys. We got AI versions of them. Spooky.
We about to get the Will hologram on here.
That's how we do it, baby. No, are you guys gonna replace Will? No, we got him back next week, baby. Like Tupac at Coachella. Jake Salazar says, "Damn, me and Phil agree on something. It's rare, you know. Things happen like this."
Nah, it's like
Uh,
nah. Jake had a good take, man. That's all. That's
wow.
very rare in our comments, man. We don't see that too
This is
often.
a great way to start the new generation of Grapsody right here. That's how you move forward. Van Twin Blade. Why am I? Why am do? Wait, what did he say? He says something high. Even I'm high and I can't read it. So shout out to
Do
Van
things
Twin
happen?
Blade.
Huh?
Shout out to
Uh,
Van Twin Blade, and definitely always watch Glory Pro Wrestling. My homie Reggie Simmons always representing. Is Warriors in 6 still a possibility?
yes.
Agreed, because of I feel how all the Warriors players reacted to knowing hearing Draymond talk about Jordan Poole's shot. He's like, everybody's like, that shot wasn't as wild. Like, they might have did something a little different, but most people were like, yeah, it's fine. And he was like, I should have done so much more. Like, we shouldn't have had depended on that shot. I should have been doing
Yeah.
something to have us up on them. So I think everybody's gonna take what happened and move forward. It's not the way you want to start it at home. Warriors been killing it at home, but
Yeah.
we still out here.
You shouldn't need a 14-0 run to win that game. And that was
Mm-hmm.
the first problem. So I don't think Jordan Poole's shot was the thing that cost him the game. They just got
Right.
too far behind early. And that was kind of their fault on defense. They were causing a lot of stupid fouls too. But I sure do watch that. I've watched that play a few times after he took that bad shot. And the tie up after that, I was like, why is that not a jump ball? I've seen it a few times. I'm like, why is that not a jump ball? Schroeder clearly did not call a timeout. Like,
Mm-hmm.
how was he just allowed a timeout? And I've seen people say, "Oh, well, LeBron called a timeout. This isn't college ball. He didn't have the ball, so he cannot call a timeout."
He can though. That's why we're here, Phil. He can do whatever the fuck he
That's
wants.
what I'm saying. Like, no, you can't do that in pro ball. You can do that in college ball, but you gotta have the ball to be able to call a timeout.
Right. We about to see tonight. All right. What's it? Excalibur has said on commentary that BCC is looking to recruit. They are. They should recruit. Um,
Shooter. That's who they need to recruit.
Straight up. Dave Langer asks, do you guys think AEW should just make Rampage a women's show to give them more time and focus?
That'd be kind of cool. I mean, give the women that hour on Friday. I worry though because you've got 3 shows out the week, and you're asking people to pick out of these 3 shows.
Hmm.
Inevitably, somebody's going to pick the show that I don't want to watch, and
Hmm.
I do think that some fans are going to decide, "Oh, that's just the women's hour. I'm not going to watch that."
Yeah.
And that's kind of unfair to the women. And of course, I don't want to make it seem like the women's hour is skippable. Of course, it's not. But we know how some wrestling fans can be, and
Hmm.
they won't give certain new things a chance. So I do think it's a good idea, but I would hope that people support it.
Hmm. And Rampage, I don't like moving forward. I don't really know what they're going to do. Are they going to try to change the perception on Rampage, or are they just like Rampage is Rampage? It's over there. We're doing this. If they're going to try to change the perception, then yeah, they should try to go do that. But if they're
Mhm.
just going to keep doing what they're doing, then the women don't deserve that.
Yeah, I mean, if it's an hour, if it's you're gonna give them like actually like storylines and stuff, cool. But if you're just giving the women an hour and just doing random matches every week, I'm not
Mm-mm.
as into that.
No, I'm cool. Like filming a bunch of matches after the show. Nah, 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 nah.
Yeah, nah.
People want Odyssey Jones to use the world's strongest slam.
Nah, man, let Mark have his thing, man. Why y'all trying to give him all Mark stuff?
Exactly. Hogan asks, "Is Adam Cole isn't the one to dethrone MJF? Who will it be? Starks, Darby, Jungle Boy,
Boy, boy,
boy,
uh,
boy?"
uh,
He tried to get out Drake ad lib off at the end of there,
the
or that's
boy.
maybe a Big Sean ad lib.
Um, I can see it being Adam Cole. If it's not Adam Cole, I can see it being Kenny Omega. Kenny makes a lot of sense.
Mhm.
Mm,
I
yeah,
think it's going to be Kenny Omega at this point. Like, I don't really know who's going to be at the end of this run, who's going to be set up that way to be able to to throw him in the way that Kenny Omega has been going this whole year, pretty much in singles action. It's like the next AEW World Champ needs to be Kenny Omega. As I always say, if you got these guys in there, they're not injured, um they're in their prime still. Him, Brian Danielson, you got to strike while the iron's hot. Put the belt on him.
yeah. He's been having a good year, so I can see it.
Zeno says, I don't understand why BC Gold is feuding with Ricky Starks. I think it's just kind of to get people, to get all these people outside. I think Jay White against Ricky Starks is a good feud. I don't know. It might be getting kind of muddied up with the BC Gold stuff, but I mean, I really don't know. Andrew the Giant says, as two wrestling and basketball fans, often the reason cited for lower ratings is when it's up against NBA. Simple question. When both Dynamite and the NBA playoffs are on, what do you watch?
I tend to watch basketball. Like even today, I ended up watching Dynamite this morning,
Mm-hmm.
because I was watching something else. But yeah, I usually end up watching basketball,
Mm-hmm.
or having both on and switching back and forth.
But basketball is first.
Basketball usually gets my priority over wrestling.
Wrestling for me, you know me, wrestling is first in anything ever. If it's dynamite's on. Basketball's immediately after. Luckily, I'm a West Coast basketball fan, so usually my team is playing after Dynamite for the most part. So it usually works out for me. But the other games I usually try to catch around it. It's usually not two at the same time. So
Yeah, I mean, if it's regular season basketball, I'll probably watch wrestling, but playoff
yeah,
basketball, usually I pull up the game.
it's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, oh, oh, oh. This one's for Phil. Spoiler: Punk wants Jay White on Saturdays. That's from Brother.
I've heard that.
Mm.
I've heard quite a few things about him and wanting Jay White. So I think that'd be a good feud. We just talked about Jay White not getting in ring promos, and if you want to give him a situation where he can shine in ring promos, it would
I'm
be with CM
saying
Punk. So
you really shining off of that.
yeah, so I would like to see that.
Did you see that there's a leaked list of people that are going to be on AEW Collision featuring our friend Will Washington and Christ Jericho?
Christ Jericho. Yeah, I saw people trying to run with it, and I was like, yeah, I think that typo pretty much tells you right away that this isn't real.
There you
Um,
go.
once you saw that typo, why are you still sharing it? And the big hey, please don't leak this thing. Once you see that, it's like it kind of gives away that this isn't real. Like I don't know.
Don't leak this. Hey, don't put this on the internet. You'll get in trouble. I love it. Um, wait, that didn't come out. Dan Unknown asks, at this point, does the All Atlantic title have more meaning than the the TNT title? I think it means the
International.
international title. Have more meaning than the TNT title? I think we could all agree that yes.
Yeah, I mean, right now, Orange Cassidy is one of the best champions in wrestling right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's kind of cyclical. You have moments where the TNT title feels like it has momentum, and then you have moments where that title feels like it has momentum. That's kind of the tough part of having two television championships because
Right.
the international championship, for better or worse, is a television championship,
Totally.
and so right now it's just hotter because Orange Cassidy's having the better matches, and we're more into him as champion.
We're gonna have to have a conversation about Wardlow because I don't really know. I don't know if the whole point. The whole point was that what he doing isn't sustainable, and then he just came back and started doing the same thing. So what are we like?
He's got Arn now.
That's what's supposed to change it. His arms there. Like this is your strategy to get. I do like the promo that they did. It's not going to be Christian was like it's not going to be Luchasaurus. It's going to be me. But like if you're just doing the same shtick, I don't care. Show me something new, big bro. Why are you the champion? Why is Arn gonna help you out? I guess to take you back to what got you there. Okay, I'm telling the story to myself. I just don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, I do like Arn with him, and I
Mm-hmm.
do like that Arn is back on TV. But I haven't been as into Wardlow in a while, and I think hopefully this TNT title run changes that. Um, I don't know. I wouldn't be mad at Christian winning the belt though.
True. Me neither. I mean, because at least until he's tag team champions later this year. Right now, JR says right now it's Juice featuring Jay White when it should be the other way around. I could see how people would think that because he is kind of like playing second to Juice a lot,
Hmm.
but I think they're trying to be like he's the leader, so he's just like watching his boy from the back. But if you don't know anything about these two guys and this is your first introduction,
Yeah,
you're just like, this is fucking Juice's sidekick at this point.
yeah. I mean, if anything, this looks like one of those feuds that they do in between New Japan pay-per-views where
Yeah.
Jay will send out the one of the Bullet Club members to fight the guy that he's going to feud with at the pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so in that way, I don't mind it. But if you don't watch New Japan, you wouldn't understand that dynamic, or you wouldn't understand the dynamic of he's the leader and he's just sending out the guy that he knows he's lose, but he's going to have the match with him, the big match at the pay-per-view.
Right. The big match. Vicky says, "Can White make Jericho shut up? Nobody can make Jericho shut up. Only Jericho can, and he won't ever." Jake says, "I saw somewhere on Twitter Reg has to say nice things about Bray. We can't have that, Chief. No, we can't."
Yeah, man. I hope Bray's doing all right. We haven't heard any
Yeah,
updates on him,
true,
so I hope he's
true.
doing okay.
Shout out to Bray. I hope he is doing all right. Jared says, "Wait, free Ask Grapsody for today? Yeah, we're just trying to show you guys what Ask Grapsody is about. Every other Thursday, you can come and ask all the questions you want to Philip Lindsay and I. The gloves are off, except for everything ever. So the gloves are on. I lied to you."
Yeah,
Will and Tony seem to be getting along really well. Yeah, I think that's part of this whole thing,
I guess so. I don't know.
Redmond says, Will putting on his best suit for the graphic, gotta respect it. Of course, Will Washington was gonna show up with a little suit on.
Nah, man, he can't go over there and be like doing work and showing up in a graphic in the Mariah Carey t-shirt, man. You gotta, nah, man.
Do you think he at least thought about the Mariah Carey shirt?
Maybe, but nah.
He said maybe.
It's a new day, man.
It was in the bag at least. He at least wore it to bed.
He probably wore it to the airport, but
Onios Gaming says, random take kind of question, but do you think CM Punk's recent actions could indicate that he will be returning as a babyface? Could he be trying to get some positivity around his name? It's a pretty good question.
I don't know. I think the crowd dictates it. I think when he comes
Mhm.
back, we have to see how the crowd responds to him before you say it's time to turn him heel or turn him face. Because again, like I explained with Jay White, you don't really need another big heel in the company. You've got
Right.
so many at the moment. You need more baby faces right now, and so I
True.
think it depends on how the crowd responds to him.
It's just, yeah. Because I'm like, there's going to be a big section of fans that are going to boo him, I think.
Yes.
That's going to be pretty apparent because there's going to be a bunch of elite fans. But on the other side, there are going to be a bunch of fans that are cheering him. And if he's away, apparently, reportedly on his own show, I think if he's on his own show on this CM Punk Island, he definitely could be a babyface, you know?
Done island irrelevancy on Saturdays.
Look at you. I didn't say it.
um, yeah, no, that would be wild if he comes out every Saturday and like get booed, and he's just like looking around like, wait a minute, this is my show. Go buy some tickets to Dynamite if you want those guys. This is my thing.
Didn't you read the reports? This is CM Punk show. It's only cheers around here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Oh, this is my dream right here. Scott George says, I want to see Will do a pull apart. All I've been thinking of is when they have all the producers and the guys out there doing the pull apart. Will Washington running down there, yanking Samoa Joe away from somebody or Wardlow or somebody. How hilarious is that going to be? That's all I've been thinking about. I've been thinking about, and nothing. I'm like, damn, my friend got a job over here. No, I just can't wait for him to be in one of those pull apart brawls. He's going to have to catch somebody too, like Commander or some one day. It's going to be great.
It's gonna be on the bottom of one of those piles.
Exactly. Yes, he is. You better learn how to catch William. People talking about my having to watch Raw. Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, you guys.
Did you watch Raw this week?
I did watch it. I'm trying to remember what happened on it. What was the main event? No, I liked
The main event was Rollins versus Solo.
Yeah, I did like that. I like the way that Solo has been presented. It really tripped me out because I remember seeing Solo. It's funny because it's May. It was in Vegas. It was in 2021. Solo was in the FSW, Future Stars Wrestling in Vegas, and I was like, this guy is on his way. He's a Uso. He looks great. He's going to be like one of those guys very soon. They're going to shoot him right to the bloodline. He came in, did his thing in NXT, and like if you think about it, he's main evented so many Raws or SmackDowns since he's got, like, he main events them more than any other bloodline member, like even more than the Usos. Like week to week, it's probably going to be Solo in the main event, and like for him to already be in this position is pretty insane. I mean, it's not surprising. His dad, his brothers, his cousin, like he's bloodline, but it's like it's just wild to kind of think about.
Yeah. Still, when you go back to Cody not winning the belt and the build to that match, I still think it's stupid that you gave him that win over Solo, so he doesn't have his undefeated streak anymore, and then he just lost anyway. And then you just go, then you come after WrestleMania and you restart his streak. So what was the purpose of any of that? Like, so stupid to me, man.
I don't get it. I don't understand why they did it, but you know, it happens how it happens. Geeky Indian of the Bronx says, get SP3 or Chrissy Love from the True Hill as one of the third members. No third members, but we have friends joining us. But yeah, those are dope people for sure. Zero Prime says, Reg ready for ROH all the time. You guys have seen my ROH takes. You know how I feel. We're going to see what happens in this next couple months moving forward. I could be coming on my ROH post show, which you guys should watch later today with Kate. after the Ring of Honor show, which has some really fun matches, might come on here in a few months and being like, shut it down, Tony Khan. I can't take it anymore. You can't be doing this to Ring of Honor. Hope it doesn't get to that point, but anything can happen. Andrew the Giant trolling and hit Madcap Moss on Raw now. Madcap Moss and Von Wagner have the potential to be on the same show. I'm sick. If they make me watch that on Monday, I'm shutting it down. I can't. That's not fair to me. That's disgusting. That's gross. Why? What's this free agent shit? That's all I really want to know.
It doesn't really make sense. This draft's been really weird. I'm sure we'll talk about that more on Saturday. It's been an odd draft. I knew that Madcap Moss was on Raw. I saw the Tennille Dashwood tweet that said, "I'm going to Raw. Thoughts?" And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Everyone thought you're gonna be with your dude. That's it. I mean, that respect to WWE for being like that and letting all the people that are in relationships be on the same brand travel with each other. Because it used to be like, oh, they're dating now. Let's separate them so they don't be together. But it seems like they're trying to have more family oriented things. They're trying to change their image because their image sucks. They got rapists and sex beasts and racists, and so you got to keep continuing to change that. I mean, you got to continue to change the narrative out there. It's terrible.
Yeah, we've come a long way from Vince seemingly trying to ruin Rusev and Lana's relationship by trying to throw them in these love triangle angles constantly. Let this man live, man. I still think one of the saddest and like low-key funny things is like the return with Bobby Lashley and just that look on Rusev's face in the ring while he's watching Bobby Lashley like mac on his wife. Like,
awful.
Let this man live, man.
Like, even as a wrestling angle, you could see in Rusev's eyes that like, this is not right. Like,
let this man live, man. Let him have his happily ever after.
Shout out to Miro.
Yeah.
Hope to see you soon, bro. Need will to repair and BT skits. That's hilarious. Everybody getting their Brian McKnight jokes off. I love it. Ashton says, who are some AEW guys do you think would thrive in WWE?
AEW guys that would thrive in WWE.
Who did we just say? Jay White?
I actually think Jay White would do well over there, but I think that the risk of him having to change up everything and do something new was interesting to me. Like, I would be interested to see what he would be doing without any of the Bullet Club stuff because he's been doing that for years now. Jay White would have been interesting. AEW. I think Ricky would do well over there.
Ricky Starks, yeah, that's probably who immediately came to mind. I think he would actually do probably better over in the AEW. I mean, in WWE, because just like it feels like some wrestlers, like you knew that they grew up wanting to main event WrestleMania, and like Starks feels like one of those guys. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of other names off the top of my head. Ricky makes a lot of sense.
What about on the women's side? I mean, Jade, I think, of course, it could shine on any company, and I think she maybe be presented as a big star, or they could be like, Bianca. We already got Bianca. We don't need another one of those.
I think Jade would do well over there, but I don't know if she would have been given the ball and given this much of a push like she did with AEW. I still think it's groundbreaking that they brought her straight in and made her a star immediately, because we don't see that with any black women. Like even with Bianca, we had to wait. Like, we had to wait that entire NXT run for her to finally get the championship run. And with AEW, they gave her the ball immediately and were like, no, she's a star. We're going to push her as the face. We're going to build this title around her. Like, at this point, like, that belt is her belt. She's synonymous with that belt.
Yeah, legit off rip, like from match one, they were like, she's a big star and you guys should see this. It's kind of crazy to think about. Yeah. We've seen every single one of her matches with our eyes. Like, you can look up every single one of her matches, and like, to know that she went from that to what she is now, it's like, yeah, that's her championship. She is one of the straight up homegrown stars from scratch. We watched it.
Man, there's kind of a cheat answer because she was already over there. But Taya, I still don't understand why they did not make the Taya Valkyrie stuff work.
That's pretty surprising to me.
Like, and I thought what she was doing with the character change was fine. They just I don't know. They just decided, nope, we're done with this. Weird.
Maybe like Britt. I think Britt could maybe get her shit off over there if given the opportunity.
Maybe because she's a good promo, and they put a lot of emphasis on promos in WWE.
Right.
So
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah. We're gonna be getting this question a lot on Twitter. Redmond says, Reg and Phil, are either of you coming to Wembley for All In?
I am not. If somebody's trying to fly your boys out, hey,
if we getting flued out, I'm on the plane. But
we're
no, we don't currently have any plans for that.
we're in here, but no, I have no plans to go to London. I actually think my passport is expired.
Ooh, he can't.
Might need to check that and see. Might need to
But
make
I
sure
do got my passport and it is ready to go. So any London lovelies are trying to flew me out, we can eat some beans and toast for breakfast and we lit. Go watch some AEW wrestling. But yeah, as this moment, we're not going to be there. We would love to, but we're just not going to. Alexander Fitzgerald said, "If Omega versus Punk happens at All In, it's because of Will Washington. Everything's because of Will
I'm gonna run around screaming from the rooftops that I pitched this match first. I know where he got it from. Give me my credit."
Yeah, no, Phil's definitely taking credit for that. I don't. Any troll questions, I'm probably not gonna ask them because I don't give a shit. Shy-Time Spurs says, "I'll never forget that series. I saw game 1 in America before going to Turkey for a school trip, and they didn't win another game. It's my fault, Phil." Oh yeah, Shy-Time Spurs left Chicago, and then things went downhill.
That's right. Going to Turkey for school. That's right. Turkish Hammer, a Sheik was on that team, and he got injured in that series, and that's part of the reason why we lost. Because once Noah got in foul trouble, there was no backup center to come off the bench because my man, the Sheik and Destroy, was not there.
Shout out to Joakim. No, when he was giving up to Joakim, I didn't get to give it up to Joakim. He's one of my favorite Bulls players ever. Just like the heart and soul of the Bulls when he was out there for sure.
One of my favorite Bulls players. Always giving back to the city. I just seen he's doing that team that I guess like he's giving back to the proceeds back to the youth of Chicago.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Getting jobs and stuff for people in the city. There's not many guys that play for the Bulls that have done more to give back to the cities than Joakim, and so I always respect him for that.
Right. Uriel Landros asks, "No question, just supporting Phil and Reg. Thanks for holding down the fort, guys. Here's to more success on the evolution of the pod."
Appreciate you.
I probably should get this closer because I can barely see this far. My ass is blind. There's construction outside, so sorry, you guys. Darian Pittman says, "What's up, fellas? Are any of you guys pulling up to Forbidden Door?"
I don't think that I am. Probably going to be at that Chicago show the week before at Wintrust, but I don't think that I will be at Forbidden Door.
Yeah, I'm trying to actually go to one of those shows, probably the All Out in Chicago, because I've never been to Chicago and I would like to. Another people asking about London. We talked about London. We're not going to be outside unless you guys want us to. Jake Salazar says, "Do you think we'll see a Vikingo versus Ospreay match when he's healthy?"
Maybe.
Hopefully.
That sounds like some heat.
It seems like Ospreay might be healthy. I know that he has a match scheduled with Matt Cardona coming up here soon, and he's been like talking about it and promoting it and doing promo videos. So I think it's pretty close to happening. He's supposed to be back. I think he's wrestling at the they're doing the tournament for the US title, and
he's clear for that. So I think he'll be ready this summer.
So yes, we want to see that match.
Did you see that lineup for the Best of Super Juniors?
I did.
Some of those matches that they announced look crazy.
There's some heat out there. They're doing 10 matches a show, like 10 days in a row or something. And it's pretty much all the insane matches you thought. Seeing the lineups, you're like, It'd be dope to see this person versus this person. You're seeing all those people versus these people. Leo's gonna be going crazy. Speedball has a bunch of dope matches. Our homeboy Jet Knight has a bunch of heat out there. Like that's gonna be a huge test for Kevin Knight. He's been excelling everywhere he's been, but like a tournament like this every single day, a totally completely different opponent every single day. Like this is a test for not just him, for everybody in this tournament. I'm gonna be watching that shit. I'm gonna stay up all late all the time because there's a bunch of heat on there.
Yeah, nah. Coming out the gate with Speedball versus Hiromu.
Mm, mm,
Fuego.
crazy. Shout out to Speedball for getting that shot. Just going through these AI. We all hate AI. Nobody likes that. JJ Montgomery says, "Do you ever feel the need to be unbiased? Do you ever feel the need to be?" I pulled up a. See, I can barely see. They're saying that we're biased. We are not biased. That's not how this works. Watch the podcast and maybe it'll work. See, that's why if I could see,
I
it'd be
I
better.
I I don't understand that question. You guys ever think about being an unbiased podcast, especially now that he's all elite? Okay, so would you like for us to now be a big Fed podcast? Would you like for us to now only cover Fed stuff now that Will's over there? Hey, let's just go ahead and kick it off. Hey man, Bloodline is the best stable ever, man.
I love it.
There's no other
I
stable has
can't wait till
influenced you.
Roman gets to 1,000
No man.
days. Like it's lit for us. Like the
I
WWE. Where I don't even get I don't even get what the argument is or whatever the trolls are trying to say. Like, oh, this proves it now. He got signed to AEW. What are you
We
proving?
got
I
him.
don't really.
The smoking
Yeah,
gun. Now,
right.
he's admitted that he hired the guy, so he's clearly on the payroll. Yes, he's now on the payroll. That doesn't
He's
mean he's
now on the
always on the
payroll.
payroll.
Yeah, I don't understand.
We
Like,
got him.
what's the big gotcha? There's no big gotcha. Like, he talks
No,
positively about them and negatively about it, but now he has a job there
I don't
officially. We
know.
fucking put in.
We finally got him. We finally got him pinned against the wall. Like, no, he admitted he works there. He took the job. I don't know.
We got Fightful too. Those boys are all the way out of here. Look
We're
at
done.
this.
But yeah, no, man. Look, I clearly their opinions on this podcast. Clearly, like I like a lot of stuff at WWE. I'm not the biggest fan. My favorite promotion is New Japan. I always say that. But I don't know. Like you're still gonna get our opinions on this podcast. If you don't like our opinions, hey, feel free to disagree with them.
Sorry. I disagree with my opinion all the time. Sometimes I go back and be like, this nigga was wilding. DNC Digital says, is there a possibility Triple H won't know how to book Sean's NXT talent on the main roster the same way Vince didn't know how to book them on his own?
Man, we're in wild times. That's where we're looking at it. Like now you've got the double-edged sword of Triple H not being the main booker on NXT anymore. So now he's gotta prove to people that he knows how to book NXT guys. Like, wow. And then you've got Vince like lingering around, booking some stuff and putting his input in as well. Whew. I don't know, man. There's definitely guys over there that Sean booked that you could tell that Triple H likes too. So I don't think people should be worried. It is crazy though, like some of the NXT guys that have just been there in like the last year. Like look at Gargano. Like Gargano is cold, bro.
Cold-blooded.
Gargano is cold right now. Like, man, wasn't even drafted on the main show, was drafted on Raw Talk. Like, what is going on, man? And that's definitely a Triple H guy. So it's really hard to tell, man.
Who are we talking about? You know what I mean? Like, I think Pretty Deadly, like I said before, I think Pretty Deadly is going to be able to get their shit out. I think Grayson Waller will be able to shine if they let him talk, if they let him do that Grayson Waller shit. But for the rest of them, it's like, if you look at situations like Gargano, you look at shit, Karrion Kross, there's still a bunch of people that are kind of just fucking lingering or trying to get out the mud, and it's like I don't know if it's going to change super with these new additions to the roster.
Yeah, I don't know. Because I mean, like, I don't know. What do you do with Indy Hartwell coming up as champion?
Right.
because immediately you're bringing her as the last champion that didn't lose, vacated the
Mm-hmm.
championship.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of got to give her a big push. She's just coming
Right.
off a championship run. Anything other than that is going to look like a step down.
And it's gonna make your title look like a dork if she comes up. They make the NXT title look like a dork. She comes up there and she's just some big jobber. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I think that's one that they definitely got to be careful with. I don't know what they're doing with the tag belts because Isla and Alba Fire are still champions. So I would
And
assume
their
that
number one contenders got called up too.
yeah, so I would hope that they still book those two well. And I think both of them are great.
Yep.
So I don't know, man. It's hard to tell with this company. Sometimes I'll sit around and go, "Oh, that guy's a slam dunk." That's exactly what Vince may like or what Trips may like, and then they're doing nothing. Like Karrion Cross, I feel like straight in the door, I was like, "Oh, he's tailor made for what they want to do over there," and he's not really doing anything.
When I saw him on the Indies, I was like, "This guy's gonna be WWE champion." Like Triple H loves this guy. He's on his way, and like that's probably the biggest surprise that I've seen in WWE in a number of years. I was like, "Oh, this guy's on his way," and he's just hasn't been on his way. It's kind of crazy. They the NXT women's division got kind of destroyed. My question has been and will remain: why did they take the belt off of Roxanne? If they were gonna, what was the point? Roxanne could have just been the champion this whole time if you're gonna just keep vacating it around every corner that you get to. And then the women's tag team division in NXT is totally in the mud. Like I said, the tag team champions and the people that are the number one contenders having a match on next NXT are both signed to the main roster. So what happens in that match, regardless, you set up two other contenders. Who are the other women's tag team champions? The good women's tag teams. The good thing is Kaden and Casey are great also too, and
Katana.
I think they're gonna add a lot to to the to the division over there, and so
Yeah.
things could be good, but I'm not holding my breath.
Merge those tag titles at this point, man.
That's it. That's it. You're not
Merge the
doing.
women's tag titles. It's pointless to have two sets of women's tag belts. Just merge those belts and make them floating championships again.
That's it. Do the thing. You could be defended on any show. You don't have enough tag teams on any show to be able to have one set of anything. So just have one set that goes around to all three brands. That's the only way to do it. As a Pacers fan, I've never agreed on a Bron take more than what was just said. After 3 straight conference finals losses to him, I despise the flopper.
Yeah, look, man. I respect his legacy that he's created for himself. Breaking that scoring record this year, that's a huge deal. But yeah, nah. It's as a Chicago fan, nah. Nah.
So anytime he was in like trade talks and none of that, you never wanted him to come to Chicago.
No. No.
No.
I've never liked the guy. I mean, we could get into other stuff that he's done and said publicly that I was kind of like, this guy is kind of a clown, but that's other stuff. Again, I don't think he's a bad person. I don't hate him on that level because I've seen people that will be like, I don't see how you can hate Bron. He gives back to kids, and he started his own school. He does all these philanthropic things. Yeah, all of that stuff is great. That's kind of like telling me, how can you hate John Cena, man? He does all the Make-A-Wish stuff. Like,
he has over 600 Make-A-Wishes.
Yeah, all of that stuff is great, but I'm still allowed to not like him as a wrestler if I don't like him as a wrestler. Like, it's the same with LeBron. If I just don't like him as a ball player, that's fine. And I think this idea that you have to like everybody is just nonsense. Like, think about Kobe. Kobe spent his entire year being an infamous basketball villain, one of the greatest villains in basketball. And he reveled
wanted to be hated.
He loved it. He loved to be hated. Bron is the opposite. Bron wants to be liked by everybody, and you're just not going to be liked by everybody, man.
But LeBron is so funny because he's like fake about it. Like, he's being fake about it. I think that's the difference. Like, if he just kind of embraced it, it'd be different. But he's still like, no. I'm a good guy. I don't be getting people fired. I don't be doing none of that. Like, I'm LeBron. But it's like, man.
Basketball needs its villains, man. We saw that this year with Dylan Brooke. We've seen it in the past with guys like Isaiah Thomas and the Bad Boys. Man, basketball needs its villains, man. It's okay to dislike somebody, man.
Mm-hmm. Always. It wouldn't be the same if there weren't villains. Um, Lostra Mill says, if you were offered a role in a wrestling company, which role do you think you can or want to do?
If I was offered a role, I would like to just be the guy that pulls the streamers out of the ring for Stardom.
Of all the roles, that's the one you want.
That's it. I just want to stand outside with the rest of the women and the talent and pull the streamers out of the ring.
All the roles, and Phil's like, nah, I just want to pull streamers. That's it. I mean, you also get to watch great Stardom matches, so I feel you up close and personal, but that's hella funny. I like it. Me, talent scout. I fucking know too many wrestlers ever, always. So that's what it is. See, Dan, I know this is the problem right here. Hate the AI rapper, but anytime somebody says but, we're losing. The AI one song is great. I don't give a flying fuck if it's the best song you ever heard. It's awful for humanity. That's it. That's it. That's all. What is this? More AI. Have you seen the AI Melter interviews? AI Roman Reigns, and Roman threatens to Superman punch him at the end.
No.
Telling you guys, it's gonna get too crossed up. Eventually, everybody's gonna. You don't even know if we're not AI right now. I could be AI. I don't even know that at this point. See, Lakers in 7. Nope, I'm not putting that on the screen. You lying? They trash.
I could definitely see the Lakers winning this series. I don't
No,
want
1000%.
but I can definitely see them winning this series.
It's just I hate them. Jimmy Finger says, who y'all got coming out of the East?
Man, that question keeps jumping around, doesn't it, man? Because at first I thought it was the Milwaukee Bucks at the beginning of the playoffs. And they took a humiliating loss to the Miami Heat. And I want to say Boston now, but man, Boston sometimes, man, they be looking like they can't finish a team out, man. I don't know what's going on with them. I'm going to tentatively say Boston because I think Boston is probably the best team left in the play outside of the East.
Agreed.
But I wouldn't be mad at the Miami Heat going back to the finals just because I really want to see Jimmy win a ring.
How you feel about the old display young James Harden had the other night? I do like respect to James Harden because every pre-show, Chuck and Shaq and them was all like, this nigga's washed, blah, blah, blah. So somebody was like, oh, can he get 35? And they were like, no possible way that this James Harden could get 35 points. And he ended up going out there and doing it without Embiid. Shout out to Embiid also for winning the MVP. That video of him being informed that he's winning the MVP. Very heartfelt, very deserved. It's fucking hard to be a great basketball player with so many other great basketball players. And for somebody to say you're number one is dope either way.
Yeah, shout out to Embiid. Definitely looked the way that he won that and then got thoroughly beaten by the Boston Celtics the next game, beaten by over 30 points.
Very unfortunate.
Very unfortunate timing, man. But shout out to Embiid, man. He deserved it.
Mm-hmm. That's hella funny. Coy Stalling says 50K already for Wembley is nuts. All thanks to Will Washington. # Booker of the Year. No, but 50,000 tickets sold already to AEW All In has exceeded all expectations. I just did a pod where I said they probably do 50 total. And for them to already be at 50 without the official on sale date is like, I don't think anybody was expecting tickets to be moving like this.
Yeah. That's great. 50,000 on just pre-sale is dope. I think people like for some reason thought like this was like AEW coming to a big stadium in the US. And so
it's not like that.
So it wasn't going to sell as well. Like, no, this is their first time in Europe. So you were going to have people from all across the continent trying to get to the show in London. It wasn't just going to be the UK crowd supporting this.
Yeah, that's another thing people think. They're like, oh, it's just going to be the UK. No, there's going to be people coming from everywhere.
Yeah, you got people that are probably coming from the US for that show. So you're definitely going to have people like coming from Germany and all of these other countries close to the UK just for the chance to see AEW for the first time.
Yep.
So I think it's a big deal for them, and I'm glad that it's doing well.
Yeah, 50K is just like they could put, like 70, 80, 90. Like, yo, the show's gonna be fucking rocking. They haven't announced one match. They haven't announced nothing. So that's dope. As always, like shout out to WWE. They've been doing this for 60 years. That they all they know how to do is pack out a show. But for
Here
another company to come out 4 years in the game to be able to do something like this is amazing.
this guy. Shout out to WWE. Unbiased, they say. Tuh. Tuh.
Clip that.
Biased podcast, they say.
I don't even know how to do that. Homie Jake Salazar says, honestly, I did it just to mess with Phil. You always mess with Phil. Yeah, that's what's going on here for the longest. But man, Rollins needs to win that title clean off Roman, get the great value Momoma up out of here.
Yeah, I do think it's funny that all of a sudden he's now saying all the things that I wanted him to say a year ago, and like, man, this guy's been ducking me for a year. I'm owed a title shot and all this stuff. Now he's saying it when he has an actual belt to go for. It's just so clear that they put this belt on Raw as like the here damn championship. Like, hey, we're tired of Rollins complaining. Here's
Rollins be talking every week. We got to do something to shut him up.
Like, here, damn, man. Like that Drew, I know you want a championship too. Like, come on, unblack your Twitter. Here, go to Raw. Like, leave us alone.
Maybe if you tease this belt, you're gonna unblack your Twitter and at least put the title as your profile pic, at least at minimum.
Yeah, no, this is definitely the leave us alone belt, man.
They don't know they about to run into a whole bunch of issues with that fucking leave us alone belt. I just like this one. Rampage should be their heat. Highlights of the best stuff of the week, plus any squash matches that they want to film. It's going to get interesting for Rampage because Collision is reportedly scheduled to be on Saturday. So like 2 back-to-back shows. Yeah. Like how are they? What's Rampage even for if you know that they're going to be putting the big advertisements on the Saturday show?
Yeah. I don't know, man. It should essentially be heat where you can like, recap stuff from Dynamite and then preview stuff for Collision.
Right.
But that's such a tough balance to hit because then you don't want people to feel like it's a skippable show and not watch it. Because definitely like Sunday Night Heat gave us some great memories, but most weeks I would skip Heat.
Yeah, no, it wasn't a must-see show at all. Like you're not gonna miss anything. They're gonna recap a lot, and it's a great precursor for what you're gonna see on Raw. But nobody's like, I gotta watch Heat. Gotta be home on Sunday.
Yeah,
it did give me one of my favorite live moments. There was a Sunday Night Heat in Bakersfield, and the dark match after was Stone Cold versus The Rock versus Kane versus Mankind, and that was the first time I ever seen wrestlers like just goofing off on like usually people are serious, but they're like no cameras off. They were like all telling jokes. Like Kane was laughing through his mask. I was like, what the hell is going on here? But like I'll always remember that. And it wasn't like I was like kayfabe is dead. I was like, man, wrestling is cool. It's just funny to think about.
I mean, because some really cool things did happen on Heat. It's not like it was just this completely throwaway show. If I remember correctly, isn't that where they started the storyline that turned into the Nation of Domination? Didn't that start on Heat?
Yeah. Heat was a good like for little things like that, same thing with Rampage. I think they could still tell some little stories and we still can get moments like this. But I don't know. I'm just really confused about Rampage, honestly. I don't know where they're going to go to it.
This is Rampage.
This is funny. Andrew the Giant says, haha, Reggie got Hogan watching his show. That's hilarious.
Yeah, a friend of the show had never seen the Hogan in his truck singing the Jeezy record. So I showed him that last night. Still one of the funniest things ever. Man.
Classic, man. Classic. You have to let me know after the show who it is so I can really laugh, I'm sure.
Oh, no, it was Emilio. Friend of
the show. There you go. Even funny. How has Emilio never seen that?
I don't know, man, but I was explaining to him what it was and he had to look it up. Hilarious.
And I love it. Bonker says Danielson needs to be champ at some point. Agreed. Jimmy Finger says, are all of the development talent from Dark and Elevation going to be featured on Collision, or will it be used for the underutilized talent sitting? That's a good question, Jimmy Fingers.
Mm.
This Dark Elevation revelation or wherever we're going, that they're not going to happen anymore, puts a big question mark on everything, honestly, because um what that was a big thing for a lot of wrestlers, especially independent wrestlers. I think a lot of them were just like going with the goal, like, if I get on AEW Dark, that's like a good look. If I get this, is going to lead to something. And for that to kind of seemingly be eliminated, and the rumor or the reports are that Warner wants all of AEW's content on their platforms. They don't want YouTube uh, content anymore, which I understand, but it was a huge thing for everybody, just like
Mhm.
for wrestling discovery. So,
Yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate. I of course would like to see Dark stick around, but of course I understand why it's not.
mhm,
But Dark did give a lot of people opportunities, man. There are people that ended up on the roster
yep,
because of Dark. Like Hobbs is a big one.
a big homie. Yep,
Uh, I mean, when you look at some of the other guys that came through the door and got a spot on Dark and got more opportunities elsewhere, or um, gained a new audience because of it,
yep.
it does kind of suck to see it go away. And it did give a lot of people opportunities, especially during the pandemic. A
Oh
lot of
yeah.
Yeah, a lot of black wrestlers in particular got
hmm
opportunities on Dark. I mean, when you even outside and when you look at like Baron Black, and like even
Yep.
he had the losing streak on Dark, like that
hmm
helped put Baron Black on the map.
It did. It's damn. It's crazy to think about now. So what are they gonna, during a regular week? They're gonna be filming Dynamite and Collision. I don't know if they're gonna be doing Rampage tapings anymore. I couldn't like
Yeah,
single.
I
This
don't
is a
know.
Rampage taping anymore. So like, where's this extra time that's gonna feel? I guess if Ring of Honor staying at the, hopefully more at the studio, there's just some time that was extra that I don't know will be filled with as many wrestlers as it used to be. Like, they would have like a locker room full of people that they could kind of filter in and out for these dark matches and for these things. And I don't know if it'll be the same with how things are going to be moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, they're still gonna do dark matches. They're a
Yeah,
wrestling promotion, so they're still doing house shows, so they're gonna do dark matches. It's just we're not gonna see the dark matches, and so I mean, there's still opportunities for wrestlers to do like Ring of Honor or house shows, but
right.
not being able to show people those dark matches, I do think it takes away how some of those wrestlers ended up getting over with the
hmm
AEW crowd before they got on TV.
hmm I mean, because if you have a match you could showcase to promoters for free off a YouTube page with, oh, this is me getting beat up by Wardlow, or this is me in a competitive match with Ray Phoenix, or this is blah blah blah. Like, that was a great tool to use. So rest
Yeah.
in peace to AEW Dark and AEW Dark Evolution. What's it called? See, look, this is how great.
What's it called? Elevation.
I
Elevation.
turn to a grandpa every
Yeah,
time I try
ele
to remember a show.
elevation, man.
What's his name? Almost.
What's her name? Alien. Alien.
Jake Salazar says Kenny needs to beat him. Like, Max just bites off more than he can chew, and Kenny just gives him the business. Yeah, Kenny has to kind of be the one to beat him. But I could see Cole, or I don't know if any of the other. I could potentially see Darby winning, but not at this moment.
Yeah.
Coy says, "What's Kyrie gonna do? Hopefully, stay with us."
I don't know, man. Boy, the second half of this Dallas season did not
The
go
debacle.
well.
No, it didn't.
It's been kind of a disaster. I would think if I were them, I would at least attempt to offer him a contract and see how it
Yeah.
goes. I think that road to Kyrie in LA is dead. I don't think he's going there. Um, Especially because LA has looked better in the second half of the season. So I don't see him going to LA. I think Dallas is a good fit for him now. I don't know. But Kyrie's gotta man, he's gotta kinda get some goodwill back next season.
Yeah.
And not to say that, uh he did anything that horrible that he needs to, you know, fall on a sword or something. But I do think that he needs to show people he can be reliable again. Because I think that's
Hmm.
the biggest issue with him. Even if you take away like the documentary stuff and the accusations of anti-Semitism, I just think he needs to show that he can be reliable to organization again.
Because I think when you look up like you said, if you kind of get past that stuff, you just look at how many games he's played. You're like, well, that's
It's crazy.
you know,
It's crazy.
like
He missed a lot of games in Brooklyn, man, and I think that's gonna be something that organizations look at, that if it's Dallas or anybody else that wants to bring him in, like, they need some kind of assurance that this guy is gonna be there and he's gonna be engaged.
hmm straight up. Get to it, Kyrie.
Yeah, get to it, bro. I really want him to succeed, man. I'm not no Kyrie hater. I want this guy to win.
But if he goes to the Lakers, I don't think he
No, I
will.
would definitely root against
No, of course I want him to succeed, but if he goes to the Lakers, nah, fuck that name.
No, no, no. Nah.
Nah, I feel you. Oh shit. Let me see. Let me get down. My page is refreshing. Shady Huda says, "You guys battle rap fans? If so, who is your favorite battler? My favorite battle rapper is Tay Rock. I just love the way that he does his thing. There's wrestling in his shit. He's just disrespectful as hell. He's loud, but then he's also like super surgical with it. He like punchlines are crazy and he's just animated. He just knows how to be a battle rapper and he knows how to make you feel his bars. And he's also nuts as like a hype man and stuff, like just everything that Tay Rock does. I fucks with him.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, no, I don't watch as much battle rap as I used to. I used to watch a lot of URL. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Off the top of my head, Surf for sure.
Surf, yep.
Surf is dope. I don't know what's
Mm-hmm.
going on with Surf. We haven't gotten an update on him in a minute. Hopefully, he's doing good.
I don't think
Um,
so.
yeah, it don't sound good, but
Mm-mm.
yeah, no, Surf for sure. Daylight.
Mm-hmm. Daylight. Mm-hmm.
Loaded Lux, man. Loaded Lux has
Mm-hmm.
given us so many classic moments.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Shout out to DNA too. We need to have a collab with that the Attitude Era podcast one day, man.
yeah. Big
That'd be
shout out to
dope.
DNA.
Questions. Thanks everybody for being inside the chat and being here with us. Y'all have been dope. There's a lot of stuff in here. I'm just running through it. Cassie Alexander said, "Did the Double or Nothing MJF squash ruin Wardlow's momentum?" That's a pretty good question. Do you think that whole weekend kind of put a perception on Wardlow for people, or do you think that didn't really have too much to do with it?
I think it did what it was supposed to do for Wardlow. It gave him the big win on the pay-per-view. I do
Mhm.
think the drama with Max kind of overshadowed his win, but I don't think that ultimately did the most damage. I think having him as TNT champion, and you quickly saw like the appeal of the chase wasn't there
Mhm.
anymore. And
Right.
I think the open challenge just doesn't really fit his gimmick as well as it does other wrestlers, because
Correct.
the appeal of everything he was doing up to that point is he was squashing people and beating them quickly. Like, if
Mhm.
you want to see open challenges, the appeal is that is seeing a guy come in and put somebody to the test. You don't really want to see
Exactly.
that with what Warlow was doing. You want
Mhm.
to see Warlow be dominant. You want to see the crowd hide into him doing the power bombs. So it just didn't really work with the open challenge gimmick, and I think that
Yep.
hurt him more than anything.
You're right. Yeah, because if you the appeal of the open challenge thing is we might get somebody we never seen before, and we have to see them showcase. They're not showcased if Wardlow's just power bombing them 10 times.
Yeah, you had to change up Wardlow's dynamic with the open challenges. I just don't think it worked.
What do you think can work for him?
I kind of think you've got to just kind of rebuild him as a character, and it seems like they're trying to do that with the orange stuff. But I just think like that whole squash thing, that was hot and it was working, man. The crowd
Mm-hmm.
was into it, but once they stopped doing the squashes, it was like, who is this guy anymore? And you got him away from MJF, and it's like he just hasn't had oh man, he just hasn't had any real character development since then, and
Yep.
he hasn't had like any like real notable feuds other than the Joe feud.
Hmm.
And man, the bad thing about it is when he has those feuds, people are more into the guys on the other side of the ring. Like
Exactly.
because during that feud, I was behind Joe because what Joe was doing was dope. And it
Hmm.
kind of felt the same way with Hobbs, where I felt like I'm kind of rooting for Hobbs here. And that's not a knock on Wardlow, but he hasn't really come out on top in any of these feuds where he hasn't come out
Hmm.
looking better.
It felt like the Samoa Joe feud. He was getting more character development. Remember, they started talking about his dad thing. They're doing
Yeah.
the haircut thing. But then, as soon as he got back to Hobbs, he was just like, "Actually, I'm just a big fool who likes destruction." And it was like, "Well, what happened here?"
Yeah. And I really like that promo. The sit down he did with
Yep.
JR was very good. But
Hmm.
man, I feel like they gotta keep going in that direction and building him.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm so tempted to say just turn him heel and let him like destroy guys, but
I mean,
um I think he can be an interesting baby face. Right now it's just really not hitting the same. That's all.
they're gonna, I guess, if they keep going hard on this Arn thing and let Arn get him over some too, it could work because the crowd still wants to be behind him. The crowd still, everybody is still like, well, what's up with Wardlow? Like, even the people that are kind of off on him are still like, well, what happened? And I think could be back if they give him something to cling on to.
Yeah.
Klingons, look, I brought it back. Is that Star Wars or is that Star Trek? Or maybe I didn't bring it back. Maybe I just
Star Trek.
offended a bunch of people and I'm sorry and I take it
It's
back.
Star Trek.
Oh, damn it. Erase. This is the point we're going to go back. Happy 4th of July to you guys or whatever the day is today.
4th of July. May the 4th. Yeah.
Andrew the Giant says, thoughts on what they'll do with Apollo back on Raw. I think he's a good challenger for Gunther, but that is but after that, I'm stumped. Shout out to Scripps getting unmasked on NXT. Different Reggie, not this one. Apollo is back on the main roster. I don't, as most people know, we didn't watch too much NXT to know how he did down there, but it seemed like he didn't really need seasoning in the first place. I don't really know what the whole point of sending him down there was.
Well,
So,
um, I get what they wanted to do like a no frill stuff with him over there, and he had been doing the Nigerian gimmick for a minute, so you kind of
mhm.
needed to do a refresh with him. But then they went like super gimmicky with him, and they started doing the he can predict the future thing. So it
Yeah.
was just like, but if the point was to get him away from like this ludicrous wrestling gimmick and like put him in a setting where he was taken more seriously, you immediately went back to like a wild gimmick. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how much being on NXT helped him. I didn't watch NXT enough to see if the That's So Raven stuff worked. Um, but
It's the future I can see. Yeah, I feel
um,
it.
I don't know. But I like Apollo a lot, man. I think he's a really great wrestler. I think he's underrated. Um, and so if he comes back up and they put more of a focus on him as a wrestler, I'd be into it. But man, you're now getting into that territory where you've now, tried several rebrands with him and repackaging with him. And it's like you're kind of exhausting your audience.
I like to think of it as Shelton Benjamin syndrome. Like if you
Yeah.
keep you could keep bringing this back, keep trying, keep changing gimmicks. Eventually, people are just gonna be like, "Oh, it's Apollo.
Yeah.
What's different than the last time I saw him?" Not a knock to him, of course, or Shelton Benjamin. They're both amazing, talented wrestlers. But if you just keep trying to feed this person to the people, it's
Yeah.
hard to get them into it. But shout out to Apollo. I hope that he does his thing. This is Straight Cash says people talking about Jay White character or presentation know nothing about Jay. He's a slime dude. Yeah, definitely. People online being like, well, why would he run from Ricky Starks, or why would he, like, that's what he does. Like, he's not a like, I'm a badass who I'll stay and fight. No, he's like gonna figure out the way to like
Yeah.
manipulate the situation and get a win.
Yeah. He's a manipulator. He's a cheater. He lies. Listen. I cannot wait for them to sell out Wembley so he can run around saying that he sold out Wembley
He can't wait.
and the
He
Garden
can't
and the
wait.
Tokyo Dome. I can't wait for him to get his lies off, man.
Uh, Wait. Redmond says, "Do we know when Edge's contract is up?" I think there was a Fightful Select thing, kind of getting into it
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
recently.
know the specifics of it, but I do think there is a select report on Edge.
So get that, get Select. Ashton says, "What are your rankings of the mid card champions in all of wrestling right now? What are your rankings?"
Rankings.
Mm.
Well, right now, I think that the top two have to be the international title and the intercontinental title because of what
Yep.
Gunther has done with that belt, and what Orange Cassidy has done for the international belt. Um, hmm, mid card belts in all of wrestling. That's a
Hmm.
oof. I would rank the television championship up there as well. Because I think Joe has had a pretty good run.
Hmm.
I think what Zack Sabre Jr. is doing with the television
Yeah.
championship for New Japan is really good as well.
Hmm.
Um, that put the U.S. title probably around there because the U.S. title is in a better position than it's been in. But boy, it's kind of taken a halt recently with the
It
theory
has.
stuff.
Hmm.
But I do think it's in a better standing than it had been in years.
They
Uh,
switched those. What do you think they're gonna do with Theory over on SmackDown?
I don't know, man.
Like, are they gonna do? Are they gonna try to play up him like the U.S. Championship has more prestige since Roman isn't always around? Is that gonna be the top title over there while Roman is out?
It's hard to tell, man. I could see them putting that belt on somebody else and letting them have like a run. Um uh, if if it's my prediction for Backlash, which is this weekend,
Oh,
um I think Bronson's going to win. I think Bronson Reed is going to
oh,
win the
that's
belt.
right. That triple threat match this weekend.
Yeah, so
Where's Bronson at? Is Bronson on Raw still?
I think he's on SmackDown.
Huh. Hmm.
Yeah, I think Bronson's going to win. And I think if you want to put the belt on somebody else and kind of give them a chance to do what Gunther's doing with the IC belt, Bronson's a pretty good option. I don't think Bobby needs another US title run. I think everybody really wants to see him move on and get
Mhm.
back into the world title picture. It seems like he's probably going to be an opponent for Roman sometime this year.
I would think so.
So yeah, and I don't know, man. I think Theory is in a much better position than he was last year with the briefcase, but hmm, yeah, I think you got to try somebody else with that belt. I think Bronson makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think they should give it to Bronson this weekend. Bobby Lashley. I hope they start pushing him, and he could maybe be the SummerSlam match at this point if that's where they're going to lead to, and whenever Roman's going to come back to work. But yeah, let's get it. Let's go for a fresh start. Let
Yeah,
Bronson carry that belt, and let's move forward.
yeah,
Especially having like such a dominant champ like Gunther was, that's going to leave a big void. And I think that if Bronson's on SmackDown, he can fill that void.
right.
Vasco's asks, "What would you like to see for the international title at All In?"
I've said that I think the Orange Cassidy match should be Michael Oku. Let Michael
Mm-hmm.
Oku challenge for that belt in
Mm-hmm.
UK and in his home country. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's the move.
Orange Cassidy, All In, international champion. That's in August. That is, I guess it kind of depends on where they're going to go with the main event. It's like, are they going to do a multi-man match? Is it going to be Osprey, and is Osprey going to be there? Because that could be the rematch with Osprey and Orange Cassidy from the Forbidden Door. I think that could be a big match, but I
Yeah,
mean,
it all depends. Like, is Osprey gonna win the
right?
U.S. title in June? Because
Mm-hmm.
if he's champion again in June, obviously they're probably not going to
You
do
know,
the rematch.
right?
Uh, but again, my Osprey match for All In that I've been pushing is the Swerve match.
I like it.
Swerve versus Orange Cassidy. Swerve versus Osprey at All In should be the move, especially if he's U.S. champion. Swerve challenging for that belt is the move.
Mm. C2C Media says, just curious, have you guys seen the game that's in development, Ultra Pro Wrestling? If so, what do you guys think of it? I think I maybe have seen a trailer like in the last couple weeks, and it feels like one of those like retro remix type games, maybe if I'm thinking of the right game. And it looks really cool. Anytime people are developing games outside of the big people, I love it because there's more wrestling, more fun, more things for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what this is, but sounds cool.
Mm-hmm. I actually just saw this question on Twitter and I was curious what you would think. Lee J. Robinson says, MC, which one is more lyrical, Lupe or Nas?
I mean, that's tough when you put anybody up against Nas. Nas is
Yes.
one of the greatest lyricists of all time. I'm so tempted to say my guy, but you have to say Nas. Like Nas' career is like you can't just put anybody against Nas, man. Like and I mean, Lupe has said himself that Nas is one of his idols.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have to go with Nas.
It's like lyrical, the word exists in part because Nas. So like how do you say anybody but Lupe? Like if you want, there's a couple of MCs that are like, all right, we need somebody to go against this motherfucker. He's the final boss. Lupe would definitely be one that I would send in there to try to get him. So,
Yeah,
but
no, Lupe
Nas is just like the guy.
Yeah, Lupe is Lupe. He's one of my favorite rappers, but when we're talking like top lyricists, I think Lupe is on the list, but can I
He's
say he's better
definitely
than
on the
Nas?
list.
I don't know if I would say he's better than Nas.
We'd have to go Nas and Black Thought, I think, maybe, if we're gonna talk about final bosses.
Yeah, you got to throw like Rakim up there, like somebody else that's like a
Yeah.
seasoned lyricist. That's like the
Mhm.
reason why lyricism is even a thing.
Exactly. Right,
So
right,
yeah,
right, right. So Nas and Hove, like the original beef was.
yeah, I'm sure
Patrick
most people would
says,
pick Nas.
yeah, exactly. Do you think OC could drop the title next Wednesday to Daniel Garcia? Probably not.
I would like it if Garcia got the win, but I don't think he's going to.
Yeah. Mac from BK says, any thoughts on the King Von / Trap Lore Ross documentary controversy? I haven't really
Yeah, what's
heard too
that?
much about it. I think they some dude put together a King Von documentary and he put it out for free, but then a whole bunch of people watched it. Then he put it behind a paywall. Like there's some shady things behind it.
Oh yeah, I'm not up on it.
Yeah. People are saying they enjoyed the Briscoe segment from last night. I thought that was pretty good.
Wow.
David Reed says, could the 6-man tag at Dominion be a way to get Bryan in New Japan? Mox, Danielson, Shooter versus Okada, Tana, Hashi, and Ishii. Take my money.
I definitely did pop up out of my seat the other night watching it. And not only Mox popping on screen, but him and Shooter saying that they're going to have a mystery tag partner. I was like, it's got to be somebody from BCC, right?
I would think so.
Maybe it's Yuta. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe this is the way to get Bryan over there. I don't know.
If it's Bryan and the other side is Okada and Tanahashi and Ishii,
that would be crazy.
When is that show?
I believe that is in July.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm sorry. Dominion is
June. It's
June.
like June 19th usually.
Yeah,
Something
Dominion
around out
June.
there. Yeah, no, that'd be pretty nuts if it is Bryan Danielson. Like we're all thinking that it's probably gonna be Yuta, but this is gonna be a really good tease, I think.
Yeah.
Have Will do a pull apart during Max Caster is funny. What does this say? If Will wasn't your friend and you looked at this appointment from outside view, what is the ideal expectations for Will at this position?
I mean, regardless if he's our friend or not, I think I would like to hope that he comes in and some of the things where like storylines will just get completely forgotten. I think that's one of the biggest issues. Like even I know people made their jokes about the Sheeta thing last night, but I do think it's good that they finally gave us kind of a culmination to the story because we never got that because Saraya did not pick Sheeta as her partner at the forum. She picked Tony and Sheeta looked like she kind of felt away. And so we finally got like a payoff.
I totally forgot about that. They just like
Yeah,
Sheeta
exactly.
was just missing.
Yeah, she just went off TV. We never got a payoff to that. She never picked a side, and so I think that this was a great way to go back to that. So I want to see more stuff like that. My
Mhm.
expectations for him is that he'll, as the wrestling brain that he is, remember things that other people have forgotten and give us those kind of callbacks.
Totally. You remember what happened 3 weeks ago and 6 weeks ago and 20 weeks ago. Will Washington, it's going to be fun. Just knowing just like you said, his wrestling mind to remember things that nobody else is going to remember that we just forgot. And he'll be able to connect some dots that are sometimes feel like they're left loose.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking about willing to pull apart. Yeah, that's going to be super funny. Can't wait. Reg Book 2D and TJPW. That would be dope, actually. Somebody says just going to regress. Dungeon Master of Puppets. No new members. There are 3 hosts of Grapsody.
Nah, no new friends. No new friends.
Mm-hmm.
No, no, no.
Mm-hmm. Nim says Trinity on Forbidden Door repping Impact. That would be cool.
Yeah, look, I'm excited for Trinity. I listened to some of the Busted Open interview. I still need to the whole thing. Um, I think it's great that she stood her ground and was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Nah, I'm not about to be doing with no disrespect. I'm out." And went somewhere where she was appreciated. Definitely being in the crowd for the show on Saturday, it seemed like people are welcoming her in the locker room, and the crowd was very hyped for her. So I'm excited to see what she does.
Finished a lot of narratives that were created back talking about when these 2 women's walked out. She was like, "Yeah, I was being disrespected, and they were talking to me crazy." That's it.
Yeah.
Huh.
Um,
Who would have thunk
yeah,
it?
yeah, I definitely have to listen to some interviews and get more of her feedback on what happened, because I think people have been kind of waiting for her side of the story. I think the unfortunate thing about her relationship with Mercedes is obviously some people just see Mercedes as the biggest star, and so
Right.
she's been seen as like Mercedes' friend in all of this, and she has her own story. She has her own wants and things, so it's good to see her out and about and doing interviews and wrestling again.
Right. D'Lo Dig says favorite Janet Jackson song.
Um, man, she's got like a amazing discography. It's kind of hard to
Mhm.
pick one.
I probably would go what That's the Way Love Goes, because Q-Tip, he went crazy.
He did go crazy on that. Favorite Janet Jackson record, man. I don't know, when Poetic Justin came out, that
Mhm.
definitely reminded me how dope that record is. That they
Mhm.
sample for that anytime is
Mhm.
fantastic record. A lot of
Right.
stuff they did with Jimmy Jam and like those guys,
Mhm.
fire.
Yeah.
Uh, um, for whatever reason, I always have a soft spot for We Go Deep. Just
Mhm.
that video for We Go Deep is wild to
Mhm.
me. The house party of it.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, Janet, man, Janet's a legend, man.
Yeah, and the new viral video of her dancing and smelling weed. I laughed this morning for like an hour straight. Every time I think of that video, I just laugh.
Yeah, that's
Um,
another dope sample too. The Wale record with the sample "We Go Deep" is
yeah,
fire.
Wale. Shout out to Wale. We need to get Wale on the show.
Yeah, shout out to Wale.
Scottish Surgeon says, lads, what do you think of the House of Black open house rules?
I think it's dope. I think it's a great way to make their run with the belts distinct. I think
Yes.
it gives the House of Black something new to do, because we haven't seen them on TV in a while, and I've been definitely looking around like, yo,
Where are they?
what are they doing? And so I think this is a
Mhm.
great way to reintroduce them and give them something unique.
Yeah, I think it's good. It's going to add a different element to the match or to their matches when there's so much going on. Pro wrestling's a variety show. You got to have some kind of variety to separate. You got tag team championships, you got trios championships, you got all these different championships. There has to be something that's going to separate them. And so for them to add this element, I think is really dope. The Bucks fired Mike Budenhauser. He deserved it.
I didn't see that. I figured he's going to get fired after the last game, man. That was a horrible, horrible loss.
Mm-hmm.
Just a very humiliating loss. So I figured he's gone.
Scott George says, hopefully when Will is established in AEW, he can invite Reg to distract Wardlow so Powerhouse Hobbs can whack him and take back the title. Okay, I'm not mad at it. I like it. Vincent's Forte says, love you guys both. Appreciate that. Thoughts on Sonata and Just Five Guys? I love that name, Just Five Guys. Love Sonata, but the actual faction gimmick kind of feels rudderless.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Shout out to Vin. I I like Sonata a lot. I like that they finally gave him the title and they finally showed that that we're ready to move forward with him. And I do think he needed something different because he's with Lij for so long.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just Five Guys just isn't really hitting for me at the moment.
No, it's
All
not.
though I like everybody involved in it. I think Tai Chi is extremely underrated. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I just the five of them together though hasn't really done anything for me yet. And maybe that'll change, but it just hasn't really been hitting for me.
I think this was a response to who we think in AEW would do well in WWE. So who do you think would do well in WWE, but they would drop the ball on? That's just like another story. Jade, probably. Wardlow, maybe.
I think Wardlow would do very well over there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a few other guys that I think could do well over there, man. Like I think like somebody like that we don't see on TV all the time, like Nick Camarado might do all right over there. Um,
True.
I don't know.
Nick Camarati. Chaos Control says, "Man, I shed 3 tears when I saw Will's All Elite graphic. So happy for him and excited for more Grapsody." That we all Will. Congratulations, Will. Trending on Twitter is just like
Crazy, man. Crazy. Happy for that guy, man. Really, really
yes.
happy for him, man. Genuinely
Shout out
happy.
to my friend. Hot take. We want to put this on the screen because people have been saying this. Jade's TBS title run starting to feel similar to Roman's.
I don't really agree, but
Mm,
yeah. Because the difference to me with Jay right now is it doesn't feel like they had their moment and they passed on it. That's the thing that's really bugging me with the Roman stuff right now. Is it feels like they had that moment twice and they just were like, nope, we're just going to keep the Roman stuff going. I don't feel like they've quite had that moment where it felt like this is the one to beat her yet. Um, that's kind of the only difference I see. I do think that they've got to give her bigger feuds though and give her some
yeah.
bigger storylines.
I mean, I'm guessing they're gonna keep moving forward with this Taya thing, but people are so sour on that finish that I
Well,
don't
I
know if
mean,
it's starting off on the right foot.
I didn't mind the finish because I think that the feud's gonna keep going. Like if
Yeah.
if she doesn't get a rematch, then yeah, that finish is horrible.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't mind the finish because I don't think the story's done.
Right. Will Ross says, "You guys have said in the past not to follow wrestling companies and follow individual wrestlers, and that makes sense. But does that change for you guys now that Will being part of AEW management?" It's a good question.
Why would it change? It's not necessarily that I'm rooting for AEW to always succeed. I'm rooting for my friend to succeed, and
Yep.
it's kind of the same thing with the wrestlers. Like, yeah, I want them to do right by my friend there, and I want him to do good things there. That doesn't mean that I am just gonna go out and go buy one of those all elite hoodies and just be rah these guys now.
Stand up for AEW. No, we're not gonna. It's gonna be the same shit. Like it doesn't. Yeah, it's still the same. It's still support the wrestlers, and now it's just support our friend who's a part of this wrestling company.
Yeah.
Um. JR says, I saw folks on Twitter say Jericho wearing the Brit shirt was embarrassing when I thought it was a good heel move in the correct context. I was stunned because I was like, fair play, Jericho. Yeah, I thought that one is just the dumbest because, like, and as a heel, that like he caused this shirt. So, of course, he would be wearing it.
I mean, I think this shirt controversy is silly. It's wrestling, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
people do heelish stuff like that. I mean, he was the guy that created the beatdown that gave her the black eye. So of course he's gonna wear the shirt to make fun of Adam Cole to push him over the edge. So I didn't think there was anything wrong with him wearing the shirt at all. That's what this started as, with the heels wearing the shirt to make fun of Britt. Now, should they be selling the shirt? I don't know. I
Another
mean,
story for another day, I guess.
I don't know, but is it kind of a lazy shirt? Yes, but again, it's supposed to be lazy and annoying because it's heels being annoying.
Mhm. It's like, yeah, if you look at it in that context of like the heels, the Outcasts went and made these shirts themselves. Like, of course, this is what it would look like. They're just
Yeah,
like, we threw her Polaroid on a fucking shirt.
yeah.
King of the North has a great question. I just want to know if Reg is going to present an award for us at the Festi show.
Hey man, Festies is a deeper, darker criminal link, man.
So maybe I don't want to be a part of it.
I
I get
don't
you.
know,
No, I
maybe,
feel you.
man.
No, I
Yeah,
feel you.
shout out to the homie Graham, man. He celebrated his birthday yesterday, man. Happy
Yeah, shout
birthday
out
to
to
the man.
Graham. Happy birthday to the dog, Bay Area legend. Seto freaking Kabai says, "Do you think TK might get a famous UK artist to perform at All In?"
Maybe should he should do something cool over there.
Mm-hmm. Who's
He's
a
gonna
big
get
artist? Let us know.
21 Savage.
21. Shout out to 21. Burton Jean says, "Who's going to WWE, Reg or Phil?" Probably neither one of us.
Hmm. I don't see either of us going there, man. It would be funny if one of us ended up there.
It would be hilarious.
They don't hire podcasters though. They don't fuck with us like that.
No, of course not. I'm trying to get through all these questions. I have a TV show to watch because I have a podcast to do, so I have homework. So I'm gonna try to burn through the rest of these. Do you think HH and Sean have had bigger NXT names back to tell Vince stuff settled? Wait, do you think that they held some bigger NXT names back to let the Vince stuff settle before sending them up and avoid killing certain guys that aren't Vince guys?
Maybe, but I think some guys it seemed like this was their time to move up. Like, what else were you gonna do with Grayson Waller? I didn't really see them putting a belt on him, and so
Mhm.
I think this was as good of a time as any to bring him up. He just had a big match during WrestleMania weekend with Gargano, so it made sense to move him up now.
Right.
It made sense to move Indy up before they put the belt on her, because she's been there long enough. I think this is fine. I think the only people that I was surprised haven't moved yet is Brian.
Right. That was pretty surprising, but I think he can get some more seasoning down there in NXT.
Yeah, I think they're
Um,
still trying to develop him as a character first.
right. Torchcrawler says the vast majority of people online have never had an actual career, and it shows. Having friends at direct competitors is so normal in every industry. Honestly,
Yeah, man. Look, he took a job. That's all this is. This is a job. This doesn't mean that, all right, well, he goes there, so that means we're going to rebrand our show and we're all of a sudden just going to be like, oh, well, AEW can do no wrong. Like, no, of course not.
they can do wrong. We'll talk about it when they do. Tom Talks Rubbish says, no question, just wanted to send you both positive vibes because you're both amazing and wrestling media is better for having you in it. Thanks, Tom. Really appreciate that. We're just trying to be two regular dudes in the space. Fat Laces P. Cola says, who are some young talent you foresee headlining a night one or night two at WrestleMania in 5 to 6 years from now?
Headlining is tough, man, because they have their guys that are set as headliners, right? Like Roman is still going to be a headliner for like the next few years. That's not going to
Totally.
change.
Mm-hmm.
Um, young talent that I can see, so tough, man.
Mm, that's already there.
Yeah. Um,
It's tough.
it is
It's
because,
tough.
like I said, they have their set. It's set, like it's kind of set in stone. Um, hmm, uh, I'm going to say I think it all depends on how the next few years go on. They're so high on Theory. I could see headlining a WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know how people are going to respond to that, but again, it didn't matter how they responded to Cena at some point. If once they were behind Cena and they decided Cena was going to be a guy, he's going to be a guy, and it seems like they're similarly behind Theory. So I'm gonna go with Theory. That's
I can see
probably
Theory too.
that's probably unpopular, but I'm gonna go with Theory.
Theory or another unpopular one.
Because
Riddle.
I mean, if you're asking me who are young guys that I think deserve that spot, that's kind of different than who is like a realistic prediction. Theory is
Right.
kind of a realistic prediction because they clearly see something in this guy. If it's somebody that I think deserves it, on the women's side, I would love to see Roxanne main event at WrestleMania. She deserves it, and I think she's going to be somebody that's going to be a huge deal there. Um, but like, if we're talking like realistic predictions, it's probably Theory.
Mm-hmm. Desi Baby says there's some correlation between LeBron and Drake on the movement of men and how they act, and that I haven't fully fleshed out yet. But this there, I know there's definitely some correlation. That's why Drake be acting like that when he's around LeBron.
No, LeBron is also from the generation that Drake has encouraged to be passive aggressive as well, and so that's why you see LeBron do passive aggressive things sometimes as well. Um, like that whole tweet where he where he was quoting the lyrics at the Grizzlies, and I was just like, all right, bro, like that's okay. Chill out. Or when he beat New York and he tweeted that King of New York thing on Instagram, I was like, all right, Brian. But that's just that era. And like, look, get your shit off, man. It's cool.
Right. Yeah. No, it's the passive aggressive era, so it makes sense. Jimmy Finger says, "Do you think Bray Wyatt will fall flat when he returns again? His creative was flat before he left. I'm a Bray fan, but I don't have faith he will captivate."
I don't know. I hope that he can come back and they have plans for him. I think that is always a thing. And many conversations we've had, not just with WWE, but with AEW, because that was kind of the thing we just talked about with Jay White. Have plans for these guys when you bring them in. Don't just drop
That's
them
it.
on into your programming and then kind of figure it out on the way. Make some plans for him coming in, and then it'll be a little bit easier.
Mm-hmm. No comment. Jimmy Fingers also says, "How about Enzo and Big Bill versus the Acclaim at All In?" What? Why that?
Nah, I'm good on that.
No.
I'm good on that.
No, we're good. We're good on that. We're gonna opt out of that. There's a lot of stuffs here, guys. Again, appreciate y'all for being here with Phil and I for Ask Grapsody every other Thursday. You can catch us again in 2 Thursdays. So I'm just scrolling through. Augie Doggy says, "Who is your favorite member of Griselda and why is it Conway?"
Conway is, in my opinion, definitely the best rapper out of the three of them. But I would say my favorite member is Benny. Just because not just the Benny freestyles, I think Benny has had some amazing albums. The Tandem Talk series is amazing. I mean, you can't really go wrong with the three of those guys. The three of those guys are incredible, but I'm gonna go with Benny as my favorite.
My favorite Griselda member is always Westside Gun, of course. Like I know that he's supposedly the third best rapper there, but I honestly like his raps the best out of all of them because the way that the thing that are annoying about people like his voice and like all that shit. I like all that shit. I think he's dope, and he's like the leader and the kind of head of Griselda. But again, like Phil said, you can't go wrong with any of them. They all are spitters. Conway has a new one dropping tonight, so that's gonna be dope. I'm excited about it. Something. Again, thank you everybody for donating. Y'all are super cool. Tom Talks Rubbish says, if Jim Ross retires after his AEW deal expires, what is one match on the AEW roster you want to see him call?
I feel like you need him for a huge match, and so I feel like if we do get CM Punk versus Kenny, I think he has to be on commentary.
It's got to be JR.
Yeah,
that's a dope match. Yeah, something like that. Some big giant Kenny match. I like the matches that he has called of Kenny. He has added a pretty epic element to it. So
Yeah.
mm-hmm. Yes. Just trying to get to the bottom of this, you guys. You guys are super cool. A lot of comments all day, every day. You'll never stop, and I love you. Cabbage Sensei says, Grapsody for life. How wide is the discrepancy between what fans think they know about backstage compared to actual locker room cultures operate?
Ooh, it is a Grand Canyonist.
I'm saying
it is a Grand Canyon like discrepancy between what people actually think and what they actually know. Because boy, it's stuff back there that people don't know. And I say this as somebody that doesn't know anything.
Yep.
It's a huge discrepancy, I think.
Everything you think, and even when you think you know, it's not. It's like it's huge. It's the difference between where we are right now and where you are, wherever. Cabbage Sensei. It's far. Kai says, "What role would you give Will if he comes on screen?" I don't think Will's gonna be on screen.
Yeah, no, it'd be kind of wild if he's on screen. Role if I gave him on screen. He should be like a on-screen like fact checker. Like that would be a hilarious gimmick for him
that would be
if you just had him come in for like MJF or like a big heel and like he just would come in and go, that's not true. And then he like points out why it's not true. And he comes with like this like random fact from like Dynamite like 3 years ago. I think that'd be pretty funny.
Mm-hmm. Jimmy Fingers again. Thanks for all the chats today, Jimmy. I would like to see something meaningful for Mark Briscoe. I know he comes off as goofy, but he can go. I would also like to see Lethal far away from Double J. Lethal's being presented like an aging legend.
Yeah, I think they're probably going to do something big with Mark eventually. I don't mind Lethal with Satnam and Double J at the moment, but I would like to see him do other things. I have been enjoying him more as a heel, but I would like to see him do other things. I mean, it is weird that we were a few years ago like, man, what are they going to do with Jay Lethal? And like now, Jay Lethal is like on TV all the fucking time.
All the time.
He's on TV constantly. So, yeah.
We've taken a big difference from that to what we've gotten here. Akai asked a great question. Brand specific titles for AEW now that they're doing this different show for Phil.
I hope not. I can see the temptation to introduce another world title. I don't think they should. I think that they should just make it clear like the network championships mean something. Like if that's the way to, put more emphasis on the TNT and the TBS championship, I think that's what they should do instead. Because correct me if I'm wrong, Collision's on TNT, right?
Collision's on TNT. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, then I would use the TNT title like a fixture on that show because it is the TNT title.
Yeah, I think there's a way to that won't. There's just so many open questions to what's gonna happen with that show, with the locker room. Is it the brand split gonna be as hard as everybody keeps saying? So it's gonna be interesting to see how they move forward. I think we finally got to the end of the questions. I have to go and watch Ring of Honor because I have a Ring of Honor post show. But again, thank you everybody for asking your questions. There was a lot of them. You guys are super dope. Phil and I are here every other Thursday on Ask Grapsody. Pay $5 to Fightful Select. You're going to catch us on Saturday, regular Grapsody, where we'll be talking all the news in wrestling this week and every week, and basketball and soccer and hip hop. I don't know why I said soccer, but you get it.
Soccer.
I'm going to see y'all. We're going to see y'all this Saturday. Shout out to all y'all. Big pieces.
Yeah.